Howdy, y'all. So, hopefully, I'm on track here in terms of Baldur's Gate playthrough videos. The reason I say that is because I can't find my old footage for previous videos. So, unfortunately, I don't know where that's going to end up, but I do have this second set, and we can go from here. But, so, in either Friday's video or Monday's video, I'll mention something about talking about time. Now, I'll probably release this video on Wednesday and the other one on Friday. I'm making that decision in the moment, but, you know, that's the fun part. I won't know until I release it. All of you watching the video, well, you're going to know by now. But in reality, I want to talk about time and a concept, specifically something interesting that I've been thinking about really in the time, and I bring it up every now and then. If you have a notepad or something, you might want to bring that out, because I'm gonna say some things that you're gonna probably think I'm crazy for, but you know, it's okay. So there's a theory that time. Okay, well, the idea that time is a construct is something that many people have heard of before, and there is a level of validity to that argument, and here's why. Time, okay? Time is a thing that universally we have agreed upon, okay? Now, that thing that we have universally agreed upon when it comes to time is 24 hours. That's it, right? So, you know, back when the Mayan calendar, right? And time in general, we just agree that sort of thing sort of exists. It works, right? So what's interesting to think about is this, right? When you think about time, we have, as a society, agreed that the world works on a 24-hour system. Okay? And you may be thinking, well, you know, the Earth spins at like 23 hours and 94 seconds or whatever. I don't know what it is, right? But we base that off of the time that we already agree upon. So let me continue further into that. So the idea behind time being agreed upon is that we could simultaneously be living in 2025 as well as 3025 and 1825. Okay, I'll let that sink in there for a second. Okay, we could simultaneously be living in 1825, 2025, and 3025 all at the same time. Now, how is that possible? That's possible if we as a society change what our method of time is, or what our understanding of time actually is. And the reason I say that is because of this, right? We, as a society, agree that 24 hours, or 1 hour, is 60 minutes, right? And that 1 minute is 60 seconds. Well, what if we agree that 1 minute is now 500 seconds, or 300 seconds, right? So 300 seconds in minutes is 5 minutes, societally agreed upon. Well, what if we now make it every 1 minute is actually 300 seconds, right? Well, now, to get to 5 minutes, it's 1500 seconds, right? So you add that up, and it affects years, it affects days, right? A day is 24 hours. Well, what if we make it to where a day is not actually 24 hours, but rather 2 hours? Right, 2 hours. And what if that 2 hours, right, that would be societally agreed upon at 180 minutes? Well, now let's say that 180 minutes, right, or sorry, excuse me, 120 minutes, that 120 minutes, well, that 120 minutes goes to, you know, times 60, right? So that's how many seconds are in those minutes. Well, what if we decide that 120 minutes is actually 60 seconds? Right? So now, in 60 seconds, we've passed 2 hours, which is how you can get to the year 3025, or a year in the future. And it works in the opposite, right? When I mentioned earlier, if you decide that 1500 seconds is actually 5 minutes instead of 300 seconds, right? Well, then you're delaying time, and now you're further back in time, right? So the concept that we societally agree upon in time works just like that. We agree that time, correct? That time is this thing, right? That it just agreed upon. It's not scientifically proven, it's not factually proven, but we agree that 60 seconds is equivalent to 1 minute. We agree that 60 minutes is equivalent to 1 hour. We agree that 24 hours is equivalent to 1 day, and that 1 day is the rotation around the sun. That's the only scientific fact that we have, is that one rotation around the sun is a day. Well, what if we decide that days are not based off of one rotation, but multiple rotations? Okay, think about that. If we decide that multiple rotations, and I know I've been saying this incorrectly, 365 days would be a full rotation, so I know I've been saying that wrong, and excuse me, but you get the idea. The idea is, what if instead we determine as every time the sun rises and sets, right? So every full rotation, so a rise and set, right? What if every 5 rise and sets, that's 1 day? So now we're talking like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That is actually only 1 day. That delays time incredibly, right? Because now if 5 days equals 1 day, then our sense of months make no sense, because a month is average 30 days, right? Well, now it's only 6 days a month. That means a month isn't eating the societally agreed upon length of 1 week, right? So then how do you calculate years? Well, then it all comes back to the idea of we are simultaneously, the theory is we could simultaneously be living in 1825, 1925, 3025, and every year infinitely beyond and infinitely before. That's the interesting thing about time, and sort of the joy about this conversation. I mean, it's like one of those 3 a.m. conversations you have with like your friends. And so this is a conversation that I had with one of my friends once, is that if you really think about it, we're living in 1825, but we're also living in 3025. And it's an interesting concept to think of, because then you look at something like, movies, where it predicts the future, right? Well, in the year 2075, well, if we as a society agree that time works separately, well then 2075 isn't the year we're looking forward to, it's the specific technical advancements. And if you really want to do a deep dive into how that works in time, think about this for a second. If we stop judging or basing time periods off of the year and start basing them off of the explorations or the technologies, right? And we kind of did that, right? The Renaissance era, for instance, right? Where we titled an era after something, right? After the art, after the poetry, after the literature, right? But there's still an era attached to it. It's still a time frame attached to it. So what if we stopped giving things a time frame and rather gave it a title related to that era, right? It works the same way with generations, right? We give generations, millennials, Gen Z, Gen A, boomers, baby boomers, etc. We give them a time frame. Well, what if we didn't? Then time does not actually function the way that we think it does. Time is a very interesting concept, y'all. Now, at the end of the day, is that going to actually change everything? No, absolutely not. It will never change anything. But it is interesting to think about how time really can be an incredibly different thing at the end of the day, right? So hopefully you enjoyed that, a little rant. Maybe you take something from your own. But other than that, y'all, thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't been paying attention to the Baldur's Gate gameplay, this is the current way to rob, if you will, the shopkeepers. So if you get a warlock, you can use your packed weapon. And when you bind your packed weapon, you drag that into the offer value in the barter menu. And then you drag that weapon and you replace it with another one with any item in your inventory, and then your packed weapon will be in the offer value. And since it's bound to you, you can actually not sell it, or you can sell it, but it won't go away. So you can sell it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So there you go, you have it now. it works. It's a little slow start game because you don't get very expensive weapons, but later game, when you start getting really good weapons and weapons that'll sell for like 1,000, 2,000 gold, it's really, really useful if you choose to go through that way. But other than that, thank you all very much for coming in. I appreciate you all taking the time. Hope you had a good enjoyment of that little rant. This video will be out on Wednesday no matter what. Whether or not there was a video on Monday or a video on Friday, I don't know yet. But until next time, y'all have been wonderful as always. I'll see you all in the next video. See y'all.